and tells you to quit your whining. Enough of your bickering, whining, and leave me alone.
What are you doing with
20,
Nem? Is he
21
he's just
off 2
free
potions.
to crawl around in the master's tent? Is that what's going on?
I'll keep
Yeah,
it.
Nem. I think Nem might be Ashoka's familiar.
All right, and then Nyx, Nyx is kept close to Phineas, or do you allow Nyx to fly around? And
No, Nyx is allowed to. He's like an
Okay.
asshole with a dog that he just lets run loose. Shit's everywhere and bothers people.
Just saying, you now know that Magnus has a 40-foot ray.
Nick spends some time taunting Sir Prentice Pennywise. He never really liked Sir Prentice Pennywise. Nyx is trying to make a nest out of Sir Prentice Pennywise's hair.
Would it be? Is there anything else that we're missing on a caravan like this?
So we have. Do we assume that we've already gotten supplies to repair any wagons or ropes, all that
Yep.
crap? We have extra supplies.
You have lots of talents and money. We'll say that the $4,000 that you were given, you've spent so far probably $2,500 with food and supplies. Are there any weapons or equipment that you want to buy for your gladiators?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's get them loaded up.
Let's not go crazy.
No. I mean, let's get them like
Any equipment you want to buy for yourselves? You are in the Imperial City. There are 2 million people here. This is the largest market you'll see for a while.
How about we get some wands?
Let's sell that blur wand and get a cure light wounds wand. I don't want to poop on the treasure, but
It was random, man. I don't care. I spent all of 3 seconds.
what's a good second level spell? Blur. Oh.
I would use the blur wand.
Yes, I'm going to use it. Use it as a cure light wounds wand.
Poopy players.
Let me just 4,500 divided by 37.
Are there any spells Phineas wants to try to buy?
Yes.
If they're going on the road, yeah.
So hold on. Magnus wants to know exactly how much money we own versus how much money. Like we've got, so outside of this 3,000 or 2,500 or whatever, we've got 10,000.
Yeah, we haven't touched that yet. Okay.
Magnus is like, shh.
Marty. The blur wand prorated for the missing charges is 1,600, a little bit over. So can I just turn that into 2 cure light wounds wands and call it a day?
Is that half price?
That's half price.
Okay. Yeah. 2 of them.
The
Is there
750 each for those ones.
Yes.
So some wand maker makes out with 160 gold pieces, but now he's stuck with a blur wand. Sorry.
Man, if I was a gladiator, I would take a blur wand.
But I'm not a gladiator, I'm a gladiator manager.
Sona would have used the hell out of that wand.
So I'm just going to put down 2 cure wands.
Are you asking me a question, Ahmed? Or are you...
No, I was looking for something that. Well, I found the answer. Decanter of endless water is 9,000.
Okay.
Let's see if there's something cheaper than that shit.
Ashoka wants a circlet of persuasion.
I want to cast something that gives me protection from evil. You evil bastard.
By whatever do you mean?
It's funny. I don't know why I taste poop in my mouth. What happened?
Right. How else are you spending your coin? I'm assuming you're spending talents now?
Well, no. The circle of persuasion. That's what the money he has. That's he just like to.
Okay, so we've got 1,500 left.
His 5 talents is being turned into like 500 gold pieces and a circle of persuasion, if that's right.
Your 5 talents.
Yep.
Okay.
Phineas, you realize that Ashoka and Magnus have money. They seem to have gotten money somehow.
I didn't know you two were that wealthy.
Oh, we made some side bets.
I should do that next time.
Is there anything that you need? Some spells that we could acquire for you?
Well, I'm always looking for more spells. I could use a spectral hand. That's always useful.
Okay, we'll make a list of spells, and out of the 1,500 that should be left from the caravan budget, we'll grab some scrolls.
Abundant ammunition would be good for the gladiators. Do we have any archers?
The soldiers that you're traveling with do have long spears and crossbows, as well as like a truncheon, like a heavy mace.
Okay. All right. So now we're getting into the 1,500. You want two spells, two first circle spells?
I feel like you guys are like bikies from the movie Snatch. You're all speaking weird and living out of caravans.
We need to leave some money for the trip.
That's a fair statement.
Do you want to just give Mark 1,000 gold for him to go nuts with scrolls and spells? And
Yeah, that works. That works absolutely fine.
all right.
Yeah, but
And then the caravan, we still have 5,000 of caravan money to pay us down the road.
I think somewhere I pre-computed the value of buying a scroll and writing it into a spellbook.
I think it's 3,750, but yeah.
Meta game, meta stream.
This is a cool one. Sash of the War Champion. The wearer treats his fighter level as 4 higher than normal for the purpose of armor training and bravery.
Look at the cost of it.
It's $4,000.
Oh, then take it if you want it.
Slip ring. I'm just.
Here, Mark. In the meta section, I'm pasting a spells and scroll summary. So total cost of buying a first level spell is 35 gold and penning it. Total cost of a second level spell is 190.
90? Okay, I want
190.
190?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to take a couple second level too.
Okay.
Including Summon Monster 2.
Cool.
Perfect. Circulator persuasion so useful. Oh my god!
What is Magnus spending his money on?
It's probably a belt of strength. Or con.
$8,000
No, belt of strength is
times
$4,000.
two. Times two. Marty Land.
God damn it, Marty.
Welcome to the Marty Dome.
Right. Otherwise, everyone would be walking around with their belts.
I'm like, what? This something ain't right. Something ain't right.
The Marty Dome.
You could buy a belt of strength +1.
When you get to 4th, it'll do something.
And upgrade it later.
I'm looking for it's something very common though. I'm looking for something weirder.
What's your armor? Yeah. Your resistance item.
Big pimp ass tattoo across your nipples.
Well, Magnus does have
Their eyes.
Yeah, Magnus doesn't have any tattoos.
A big tattoo to commemorate your victory.
Giving me fire resistance.
Fire resistance tattoo.
I don't think you could afford that.
Of a half point. And the pizza's in the oven. Fuck.
What?
Does the pizza have fire resistance?
Apparently not. Resistance? I don't know.
Is it alive? It scared you, huh? Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, it would be the same as ring of
Fire resistance, yeah.
resistance.
Yeah, I think the 2,500 also includes enough food and material to go there. I don't think they've bought any drinks aside from just water and more sundry type things.
It would be like really weak ale because it doesn't go bad, but Ox has water. Make water, Ox.
Yeah, he can create water, can he?
Yep, yes he can.
Okay.
He should be able to. If he can't, then...
Well, he is in 6. He may not have picked the best
He
spells.
can make... Oh, can he create... Yeah, what's it called?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Ox can create water. He can purify food and drink.
Purify food and water.
Perfect. We eat garbage on the way.
Awesome.
We just find roadkill, purify and eat raccoons for the entire way.
Yeah. I think we've got 5,000 or 500 left of incidental cash, and that's we're unless we want to hire like I'm wondering if we want to hire like a scout, but that sounds like a no.
No, I don't.
Okay.
All right, you've got a caravan master. You're saying that the roads are safe. Many imperial patrols between here and Vaddapol. We have no worry.
All right. We're trusting you, Mr. Caravan Master Havia.
Of course, you pay good.
Is there anything that you feel we're missing?
We could bring more wine.
No wine.
Wine is good to keep people happy in the camps. It is good to trade with people who've come. We should have wine cart.
No wine.
Sense motive.
Sure.
Is he a fucking drunk? Is my question. 11.
People like
Maybe
wine.
People like wine.
People like wine.
We're gonna be the freaking Donner Party.
Ashoka's down with that.
So Magnus is saying no wine. Sona seems upset at that. Some of the soldiers are grumbling when you say no wine.
Ashoka will get wine. Well, not a whole cart for wine. There'll be wine added to a cart.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Like,
To the supply wagon, which Caravan Master Javier is sitting in, so he's fine with that.
yeah.
It's only half of you can drink on one day, and the other half can drink on the other day.
Yeah, they like that idea. Alternating days of drunk.
All right. So 50 gold pieces worth of wine, 100 gold pieces worth of wine. How much wine?
100 gold pieces. You got to buy a lot of wine for a lot of people.
Okay. There, we got 400 gold pieces left for incidentals.
All right.
The
and
Oregon
Ahmed,
Trail.
Are you buying anything or not? Are you sitting on your $5,000 or?
I'd like to get my armor to +1.
Sure, that's like 1,000, 2,000 gold pieces.
It's 1,000.
1,000. Okay.
Unless Boyo over there knows he can't because he's not fifth.
No, not fifth yet.
Yep. All right.
Your arm is looking very shiny, says Sona.
What about the gladiators? What did the gladiators get?
yeah,
What did
yeah.
the gladiators?
Let's get the change shirts for everyone.
Okay, I'll start for Sona, Fleas, and Bull.
Yes. Yeah. By everyone, I mean
What about
those
Bull?
three.
Sona
Bull
already
doesn't have
owns a chain shirt. Fleas does
Okay.
not. I will change that to chain shirt.
All right.
Bull, the animal, does not have armor.
Does it have proficiency?
All right. So there's 50.
I haven't chosen its feats, so yeah, maybe we'll say it's got light armor proficiency.
Okay, so for a bull, that would be like
400 gold.
Give me a second. It's weird. The formula for armor is weird.
There's a cost because it's not a humanoid, and there's a cost because it's large.
Right. And I don't remember those costs. I used to.
I think the cost for large is just double, but I might, or 8 times 4 actually.
This is the.
So Marty, correct me
Yeah,
if I'm
look
wrong.
it up.
Yep.
1,000 for +1 armor, and then
Yep.
8,000 for +2.
4,000.
Large is
Another 3.
Large non-humanoid is times 4 cost. Marty for the win. So it's 200 gold pieces to get. We might just give him leathers for now.
Yeah, Magnus wants to buy +2 armor.
Okay. Magnus spends his weapon on armor.
His
Money on armor.
All right, money on armor, yeah.
all right.
Warble, you're giving him leather armor barding or studded leather armor barding?
Yeah, I'm looking at studded leather armor barding. We'll give him studded leather armor barding.
Okay.
All right, and Sona. What does Sona look like Sona wants?
Sona carries a masterwork whip, a masterwork longsword, and a chain shirt. Sona would love a magical whip.
Okay. It's good to have goals.
Yep. he tries. Fleas has got a masterwork kukri.
Ashoka's like Ashoka had this plan of like chain shirts. Everyone loves chain shirts.
Yeah. Sona's like, I could always use a mithril chain shirt. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. His dex is 13. He doesn't use it. Oh, you know, like my freedom?
We're working towards it.
Really? Good to know.
Some Sorons live long, yes.
Endless. We're mortal in a certain way.
Yes, you're the ones that come back, right?
I have memories of past lives, yes.
You didn't meet me in a past life, did you?
I don't think so. I've never seen your kind before.
I think Sona needs something special. Let's just check. Give me a second. I'm going to get Sona a weird token that he could smuggle into the ring.
Like a tree token. Make like a tree.
Make like a tree. Exactly.
It's a big tree. Insta cover.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. The tree tokens are more expensive than I remembered.
All right, Magnus spends his coin. He's got a little bit left over. Phineas spends several days penning furiously in his spell books and his formula books. Ashoka buys this
there we go.
shiny new
lost
bracelet.
you guys for a couple.
And your caravan is ready to go. You leave the cities of Vin and Voss behind, the imperial capital, Vin Vossa. You pass through the
Someone
Vin
gets
Voss.
a potion of cure light wounds. That's the...
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, how much do those cost?
50.
50.
50. Magnus is getting...
We have 200. We have 200 change to pay for incidentals.
Magnus is gonna put... what do our guards have in terms of armor and weapons?
They have crossbows,
chain shirts, light crossbows, long spears, and heavy maces. Maybe a dagger.
No shields.
Nope. Oh, I guess they could carry a shield for when they're going all mace. Like, they've got a heavy wooden shields. Top of the line guards! Top of the line.
That sounds pretty good to me.
That's pretty fucking good. I'll take that.
Any manacles? And,
Probably manacles would probably be a thing.
So Magnus is keeping 1,000 gold.
You should consider wizard manacles as well.
How much do wizard manacles cost?
They're worth their weight if they keep a sorcerer from casting his spells.
Marty?
there are things to just normal metal manacles, or like big metal gloves you could stick on a wizard to make it hard to cast spells, all the way to magically cursed finger traps or like planner manacles Like you could spend from
We just get
3
Eastern
gold
finger traps, so
to
they're stuck like
150,000 gold on manacles if you wanted.
Okay, let's get 20 pair of the cheap ones.
Of manacles.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Medium
one
or
of the
small?
wizard kind,
Okay.
like the.
We'll call them wizard gloves. Basically, they're like big chainmail mitts that get tied around the manacles, and you just can't cast your spells because, or you might have like spell failure
Okay,
chances.
and we'll just call that rest of that cash going.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Adam, did you put potion of
The
cure light on all
the
slaves?
locks are poor.
Gladiators?
No, just one on Sona, an extra one for Sona.
You heard me
Bull
right.
already had
the locks
one.
are poor.
Right.
I'm putting one on Flea.
They're the locks are poor. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Marty, I only bought one cure light and I put it on myself.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
All right. So you picked your spells, Mark. You spent your money, Adam, and you spent your money, Magnus. It feels like the caravan is ready to go. So you
Just as a thing for the manacles,
Yeah.
the regular manacles, there's going to be 15 for medium, 4 for small, and 1 for large.
okay.
Because they have a size associated with them.
Yeah, it's like you stick the large manacles on the halfling. It's like, are you kidding me?
fucking kidding me?
All right. You leave the great imperial city. Let's just see if people know. Yeah, by the time that you've bought all of your things and got everything ready, it took a few days, almost to a week, to gather up the supplies and food and do all the shopping. Especially when you're starting to talk about shopping for magical items. People at
Ashoka
this
wants to do a gather information to see if any word on Theodore.
Sure. People begin to realize that the Conclave of the Crimson Sands has been liquidated. There are some people that actually approach Magnus and tell him, like, good fight, and they're sorry to see him go.
No problem. I'll take any presents you have for me. It was my pleasure. It was a hard fight. You'll see more of Magnus and the gladiators.
Okay. Some of Magnus's fans spread the word that Magnus is destitute, and he ends up with 700 copper coins as a collection is taken.
Yeah, fuck it, alright.
Guys come up to you with big bowls of pennies, saying, "We took a collection on your behalf. Good luck to you, Magnus. May the gods be with you."
Like 20-some thousand worth of gold on me. Weapons and alright, cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
There's some hobo missing teeth. Leg comes up to you with a bowl full of coins.
Yeah,
Master Magnus.
So I'll use that to give the guards and the new guards, to ingratiate the new guards so they have some loyalty with us.
Okay, you spread the coins around to the guards. The guards are not beyond having a little bit of spending cash. They're not like doing backflips. It's not gold or anything, but
we should spread some. We should give them a little bit of money, like maybe 10 gold each or something.
You're gonna pay them their bonuses up front.
Why not?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Because
5,
you want
6,
them to
7,
actually go on the
8.
goddamn trip.
That's
There's
80,
more coming, you stupid bastards!
80 gold if you wanted to give them 10 gold each.
Are we keeping these guards, or just for the trip?
They're supposed to be kept, but it's up to you. You've now wanted to triple their bonus, more than triple their bonus, and give it to them up front.
They might like you because of it.
We'll give them 4 gold each.
Or they might decide, I don't need to work for a while and just not show up.
4 gold each.
Okay, they pay the bonuses early, and They note that their bonus includes an extra coin. They're very happy. Some of the ones that have families kind of deliver the coins to their families. Others seem to spend a little bit of it while you guys are shopping.
Yep. So 32
to the brothels, and to the taverns.
They show up and they're just really itchy when they get back.
To the brothels and the taverns. Okay, Magnus is paying his guards well.
32.
Your gather information check.
Here we go.
Yes, my gather information check. Tell me of Theodore. Tell me of Theodore. 27.
Theodore was arrested at the gate that leads to Princeport, red-handed, and he is now in the city jail, awaiting sentencing. Basically trial and sentencing by, and there's a name for this dude. NPC's Vin Vossa. He is the High Warden Roche Rijon.
Maybe he will survive long enough for us to see him fight when we return.
If you recall, the High Warden was the one that was booed.
He's the goofy-looking one.
Yep. Yeah, basically he's being held by the warden and will probably appear before some of the high magisters. The charges are serious in that they're stealing from not just a rich person, but it's basically stealing money from imperial aristocracy.
It's like a Jean Valjean thing he stole from the post office.
These are serious enough charges that he'll probably die in the arena.
Perfect. Good on him.
Where's the 1,000, you bastards?
Worth it.
Oh no, yeah, there's that gold is gone. Enough of it to be convicted, and you're pretty sure that.
There's only one gold coin out of that bag that I'd be interested in getting back. I'm certain Qued would have a way to
if you could trace it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you leave the city gates. There are some people there are some sycophants that are waving to see
Magnus salutes you.
Magnus!
Flaming sword. You shall see Magnus again, but for not for one time.
All right, the traffic at the gate parts as there's this crazy man swinging a flaming sword around. as this no longer employed, effectively gladiator is leading his caravan, is very hungover caravan. The caravan guards seem really hungover.
Imagine you leaving like New York City or downtown Toronto. You're just on your way out and you start yelling. You're gonna get shut the fuck up.
just pulling out an AK-47, firing it into the air as you're leaving.
Good morning, America.
There are some guards that are chuckling as you're leaving.
Coming to America. Yeah.
And soon you pass through the gates of Vin and Voss, which are these two great statues. Remember, Vin and Voss were the two brothers. One represents all that is good with civilization, and the other one represents all the vices and destruction of civilization. So the crazy, wild-eyed Voss is trying to strangle his brother, who is kind of like not yielding. He's got his hand up and moving back. So there's these beautiful statues that the Imperials built. They're great monument builders. There are some good things, I suppose, about the Imperium. As you guys pass through the gates of Vin and Voss and leave the capital city of
we're
Vin
leaving
Vossa.
Las Vegas and hoping we're going to Atlanta, but we might be just going to some highway.
You begin to travel through the well-tilled fields that surround Vin and Vossa. It is harvest time. You can see that there are many slaves that are bringing in the wheat and the harvest around Vin Vossa itself. Let's go to the map of Tarak. You are heading inland. You leave behind the massive river that travels next to Vin Vossa. It's a deep enough river that some of the sailing ships can actually go to Vin Vossa, but most of the large galleons are at Princeport. Unfortunately, you're headed in the wrong direction.
We're heading in the right direction.
Well, to see ships, that is.
Well,
galleons, Gandalf, galleons. No, it's mountains.
No, Frodo, you're fucking annoying. No.
You do travel up the river a little bit before finally separating. You are heading between what looks like some hills to the north and a forested region to the south. This is heavily, like, there are lots of villages and towns surrounding Vin Vossa with 2 million people. It's a very, very busy road and a very busy port. This place is all a protectorate. It is called the Protectorate of Ralandar, which used to be a kingdom. The progression of things tend to be, if they capitulate, they make them a duchy. If they don't, or if the duchy fails, or after some time it's no longer a duchy, it becomes a protectorate. And it really means that it's administered directly by the Imperials themselves. The natives no longer have control over it. So you're leaving the once proud kingdom of Ralandar that, after 200 years of conquest and building, have turned Vin Vossa into the center of all. You know that the gate that leads off-world is somewhere in Vin Vossa, in a very, very impregnable fortress, through which the army's grain and gunpowder flows.
Is that gate how Ashoka made his way to this world?
Yep.
Okay.
You had travel papers to travel between Volcanica and here. You do not have papers that allow you to go back, though. Like, you had.
Perfect.
You had a ticket.
You're not muted. If you think you are, you're not.
Touche, son.
As you're whispering sweet nothings, just, I don't know.
You want some ice cream? I fucking want some ice cream. Yeah.
Apparently to ice cream.
Get some fucking ice cream.
All right. They have passports. Yeah. They have travel papers, especially for something as important as the Song Gate.
Mm-hmm.
That is the center of their empire. Is the Song Gates.
The Song Gate network.
They couldn't have their empire without it. I'm sure by this point in time they have other ways of moving between planes. In fact, if we recall from the Legends campaign, there was the remark, "Oh, you can plane shift." Like, plane shift is a known method to move between worlds. But when you're talking about armies and huge caravans, let's see. For the first, I'm not going to do every hex percentage, but I'm going to roll a random encounter while you're in heavily populated lands.
Okay.
20 or less. 95. Nope. You begin to leave the forest, the wooded or heavily cultivated area towards a more wooded area near the northern tip of the forest of Roland. Your guide says that we should not have too much trouble. Whose token should I use for the marker on this map? Who's the leader of your little gang?
The one who talks the loudest is Magnus. The one who speaks most effectively is Ashoka. Phineas is...
Loudest
if we're going to use Phineas, we'd actually use Nyx.
All right, well, we'll use
Use Magnus. He's What are you doing on my road?
You want Magnus? Okay. Do you want Crazy Magnus or Sane Magnus?
I insist on Crazy Magnus.
Okay.
But I
You're
want
travel,
Sane
you're gonna
Magnus. I don't want to punch everything I meet.
All right, so there's Insane Magnus. As you're traveling between the gap, these hills are known for there's news of some different sort of material that the Imperials are really excited about. It's got a bit of a slang to it. It's called Kaal. It's this black substance that they seem to be digging out of the hills to the north.
Does it burn good?
Sure does.
For a second there. I was thinking Kal-El. They dug up Superman.
So we'll call these the Kal Hills. The Kal Hills have been renamed. The Imperials get to rename things because they are the victors, and there's a lot of mining going on here.
Is Kal a useful component in the production of the smoke powder that the Imperials really like?
You're not sure. You're not an alchemist.
Phineas. What is Kal?
A moment. No alchemist bonus from the kit. That's not right, but it should be more than 31. So, 34.
Coal?
Yeah, it's coal. You remember several talks about the possible use of coal as a substitute for the fuel of the Empire, which is wood.
Yes, it burns. It's I know. I've never really studied it. Its chemical properties are as follows. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, coal. There's different types of coal, and some of it could be used in the production of gunpowder. But yeah, there's a lot of dirty miners that you actually cross over like a mining camp along the road, or like miners kind of returning back to town, and they're just covered in this blackish soot.
If we're talking historically, they should have really soft hands because petroleum jelly is a byproduct of the coal mining process, like Vaseline. And their lungs should be all sorts of fucked up. That would be the...
Got it. You actually see some of this coal in big wagons. It's this black substance. You camp close enough to a coal miner camp that you could actually buy some if you wanted.
It looks like what's left after a fire.
It does, but it still burns quite well.
So was there a large fire there a long time ago?
No. It's just a substance found naturally in the ground that the Imperiums found useful.
The ground is warm, and that's probably like the extent of the scientific knowledge. You know, it's like maybe the ground is warm and there were fires underground.
The hot ground is burning the. It's what happens if you burn the earth hot enough or something. You just burn the ground. All right.
Yep.
There's a mine in Sudbury that's had a fire going in it for the last 16 years.
We could do Silent Hill in Sudbury. That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Silent Hill Sudbury edition.
It's crazy. They just can't put it out, or
it's too dangerous to put it out.
How would you? It would be the thing.
What's it burning? Is it coal? Is it coal or?
No, it's not coal. I think there's just a lot of sulfur in that deposit or something. Like it's
the Everflame.
Okay. So the Kal Hills.
Coal on fire. Got it.
All right. So the Kal Hills, they are producing coal there, or coal. You guys don't seem really interested in it. It's sort of a curio at this point.
It's an interesting thing. I'm struggling to find a immediate use. I'm not an alchemist. The alchemist would be the one who would be finding the use for it.
Yep. So that's the exciting part that that you find as you're leaving Vin Vossa. Although the villages start to become further and fewer between, you have a choice ahead of you. Your guide says, he says, we can travel along the protectorate of many lakes, or we can take the southern coast towards Cantaport.
Lots of difference.
So he's showing you the area of many lakes or Cantaport. He does have some maps, which are handy.
We in the world? Excuse me.
So basically, you would go down towards the coast and go to Cantaport, or you could travel along the lakes and then towards Vaddapol. It is safer if we go to the south, as the land is more pacified. The protectorate of many lakes, there are a lot of free folk up there that think they are too free.
Yes, let's avoid the free folk.
Safer is better.
Of course, Cantaport is not known for being a very nice place. You might want to keep your coin purse to yourself and not wander off into any dark alleys alone.
Right then.
Oh, and do not trust any of the painted ores of Cantaport. They're a bloodthirsty lot as well. It has to do because they got a town that is built basically in a swamp. Never trust swamp people.
That's
Magnus,
very good advice.
You
That's
should
very good
probably
advice.
distribute
like
the
this
advice about the holes amongst the gods, with whom you are also leading.
We could avoid...
Especially the ones that have been scratching since we left. Filthy animals.
Especially if we go the way of the lake, we can avoid Cantaport altogether. You may not lose any of your guards that way, but it is a fork literally in the road. We either go that way or that way. It's up to you. I'll be over here taking my daily wine ration when...
Civilization, pacification, and painted whores?
Civilization is always the best choice.
Magnus?
I fucking said it 5 times. Head south. Magnus,
You
you
need
quiet.
to. You need to
They
actually
should have heard me.
towards us when you're speaking.
All right, so you guys are going to go south?
Yep.
Okay, another percentile. Let somebody else roll it on the trip along to the south as you're leaving the Cowl Hills and rounding the forest of Roland. 71. You actually do reach the coast. You have a pleasant stay at a winery along the coast. It's almost too much to get your... you almost don't quite get your guards and people to come with you. We'll call this the...
Don't touch the winer's daughter.
the Red Vineyard Estates. Basically slave run or powered vineyards along the coast.
Yeah.
Lots of rich
manual
nobles.
labor and-
There's lots of manual labor. Lots of rich nobles have estates in here, and you guys, your men definitely spend a lot of coin, or the remaining coin in this place. As the wine isn't cheap, but you can get a lot of it, and your stocks of wine have been restored. All right, along the coast of towards Cantaport, one more percentile. I'm looking for 20 or below for a...
I will roll this. Or is Mark rolling?
For
No, go ahead.
random encounter.
Ooh, 25.
25, you actually spot some Imperial galleons and several slave galleons that are probably headed towards Princeport. They most likely are coming from the far-off continent of Stygia. There's no good place for them to go to port here. They may have come from Cantaport, but you see 3 galleons and 2 slave galleons that are bringing all sorts of unfortunate folks. As the weather is about to turn, it is late fall by this point in time, as you guys are heading towards Cantaport.
Ignore them with the utmost amount of ignoring.
All right. In the dangerous near swamplands of Cantaport, give me a
hive of scum and villainy.
A percentile roll. This time it is 30 or under for an encounter.
Oh, look at that! Oh, we're gonna make it! We're gonna make it!
You somehow manage to avoid the cutthroats and thieves that are the opportunistics on the roads. You're warned by your caravan master not to stay in any of the inns near here. The roadside inns are. He says it's like flipping coin. Either you get the inn where they cut your throat, or you get an inn where they just charge you lots.
All right then.
Most Isley Cantina, yeah. All right, we well, this is why we brought caravan. Just
In Cantaport, are you going inside the city?
How are we on supplies like feed? And
Fuck
pack
no.
and feed. And...
This is probably a good time to resupply.
Okay, well then
This is where we
we're in
do.
the middle of the swamp. We're at that sign in Nevada where it's like last gas station for 500 miles.
Yep.
We stop at the last gas station for 500 miles.
Vaddapol is relatively close. You're over halfway there as you're heading towards Vaddapol.
Okay, we restock.
Okay. In Cantaport.
Yeah.
Reload.
All right. Why is this place so assholey? They live in a swamp, and that's just generally miserable. The town basically has a lot of walkways between sort of not quite Venetian canals, but like little islands where the buildings are and walkways. There's lots of docks and walkways that spread throughout the city. The city does have the city does have walls, but they're really old and some of them are sinking into the swamp. So there's an uneven sort of a look to the surrounding outside of Cantaport. It is known to be a den. It is known to be a den of thieves. There are some imperial operations here. I think they would get peat from the surrounding swamps, and they're cranberry eaters.
Cranberries, nice swamp food.
Cranberries and peat, and it's also a major port city. But aside from that, the ruler of Cantaport is not human.
Yep.
We will say.
It's a fucking horse.
Welcome to my town.
It's a horse. What are you talking about?
That's hilarious.
The rat folk.
It's a rat folk.
Yeah, it's a rat folk.
Okay, we'll say that Cantaport has a human leader, but everyone knows that the one who runs Cantaport is called the. Let's see. We need a good title for him.
Mr. Whiskers.
Why did you guys say that in unison?
I don't know.
Awakened Siamese cat.
Cheshire.
You've brought me too nicey. Meow, eh?
All right. He is going to be called. I need like a Don. Yeah,
The
like
big boss wants a cultist trap.
He's the Grand Don.
The Grand Don?
Don. Yep.
There's no G in there, right?
No. Grand Don.
Just asking.
All right.
And him and his
young guy
rat
laughs
folk
the most.
basically rule the underworld almost, but it's to the point where
Okay.
nothing almost gets done without the Grand Don getting his due.
Okay, we. Can,
Can I see your license and registration? Meow. Funny.
all right. I guess we'll seek an audience or permission from the Grand Don.
Yeah, he doesn't really operate out in the open. You basically do have to pay taxes and fees for a lot of the things. You find that this was a very expensive spot to resupply, and any extra money you have at this point is gone by the time you leave Cantaport. 1d100 while you're in Cantaport to see if anything bad happens here.
All right. 82. We're good. Unless it's a really bad place.
You guys manage to stay away from the evil whores, the thieves and the cutthroats. You do lose a little bit of money, but
Cost of doing business. In
yeah,
Cantaport.
it costs of doing business as you guys wander away from Cantaport. The weather is starting to turn colder in your last stretch towards the city of Vaddapol. Come on, we gotta have an encounter or something.
We want no fighting. There's no money to be made.
But that's what Ashoka thinks. Ashoka wants to not have conflict that might result in his death along the highway.
Phineas wholeheartedly agrees.
Got it. So you've got some cowards. Got it. All right. 6 desert dragons.
Magnus is standing on top of the middle. Magnus standing on top of the middle car with a flaming sword. Where the fuck is everybody?
Oh, you pass lots of people.
Come
There's a
get
lot.
them
There's a lot
here!
of traffic as the
swamp drakes. No, we don't need any drakes. Nope, we're good.
As you're leaving Cantaport and heading towards the Duchy of Vade, they're still in dangerous territory, as Cantaport doesn't patrol its swamps very well. So another percentile. This is 20%.
We're getting close to the statistical limit of how long we keep rolling.
Yep.
I'm not rolling it. Somebody else is.
I'm staying. The
I'll
fuck
roll
away
this one
from
then.
now.
48. All right. Fine.
You roll the same time as me.
You do pass through a bunch of an area of lots of castles. It might have been some natural valley or border a long time ago between kingdoms. Maybe this was the Kingdom of Vade and not the Duchy of Vade. Some of the castles are ruined, like they've 100 years ago they were blown apart by cannon fire, that sort of thing. You do see that there are folk that are still living amongst the castles, even though some of them have clearly just become homes as opposed to of any strategic defense. There is one large fortress-like structure that does tax you as you go into the Duchy of Vade. And let's see. Give me a knowledge nobility.
Okay. $22.
And I get a 31.
Nerd.
Magnus will roll this.
He's something of a nerd, actually.
I do not have any of that shit. Awesome.
Okay, the Duchy of Vade is ruled over by Dragol Korda. He is a duke. He is half Imperial, half Avician. He represents basically old and new nobility. He's known as a warlord. Like his people help fight against the northern barbarian tribes that still rise up and give the Imperium problems.
Okay.
And he is very much a traditionalist in that he arguably keeps some of the knightly traditions alive. This fortress seems to be a combination of an old castle and a new style fort where there's lots of angles for cannons to stick out of. And it's the first fortification you've seen outside of the imperial city where there are cannons. Knights stop your caravan, and
Lances and...
yeah, with lances. Some of the knights actually have lances, but they'll have like weird curled wand guns kind of at their belt as well.
Okay.
Like they've incorporated a mix. They've got banners. Like they're not all like dressed like soldiers with a single uniform.
All
They're
right.
pretty cool. I think the badass.
What brings you to the Duchy of Vade? Says this one knight who opens up his helmet.
We are passing through to Vaddapol.
You notice that there are 6 guys all lining up with early style muskets and forming a line and pointing it at your caravan.
We mean no harm. With a kind of a, why are you pointing guns at us, brah?
Do you have papers?
Yes.
Okay, the knight holds out his hand. He wants to see your papers.
Okay.
You are an imperial citizen? No, you're an imperial subject, but you still have... It's like one step down from citizen.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at your papers. Off-world.
Yes.
What business do you have in the Duchy of Vade?
I am a manager of a gladiatorial guild. Guild is the wrong word. Ludis?
He nods at that. Which guild?
Previously the Crimson Sands, although it was liquidated and purchased by a new benefactor. We will be
Vogul
under new
van
management with a new
Krakenstein.
name shortly.
Vogul van Krakenstein owns this band.
And who are you? He gives you back your papers.
This is our alchemist and crafter.
I have my papers for alchemy and wizardry.
Okay. He looks at it. Welcome, citizen.
Thank you, knight.
He didn't fucking question Ashoka. Like, he didn't question Phineas. He just,
Yeah, that's fine.
he's got citizen papers. His papers look
Yep.
nicer than you. Got weird stamps on them and some purple. And he hands back this little flip book of like a bunch of different documents, kind of all stapled together. And he hands it back to you. Enjoy your stay.
Thank you.
What are you
Thank you.
transporting?
Supplies for the road, our gladiators, of course.
Let us see their documentation as well.
No, of course, here they are. Phineas fishes them out.
Okay. He looks at them.
Ashoka will stand to Phineas's side and try to look like an assistant.
It appear to be in order. Are there any other goods or contraband?
We have alchemy equipment.
I saw that you were an imperial alchemist.
Yes, well, that's the reason for it.
Okay.
And magical spell regions, of course. We are also carrying a... Shocker, remind me, is Mr. Pennywise our property or simply our prisoner?
He has been sentenced to death by gladiatoria.
Yes, he's our responsibility.
He can be seen in the prisoner cot.
Oh, yes. I'm assuming you have papers for him as well.
Do we, or do the guards carry those papers?
Yeah, the two guards will go over and present the papers. I suggest that when you get to Vaddapol that you check in with Commissar Dmitri Vaska.
Oh, thank you, sir. We certainly will.
He will make the necessary arrangements to make sure that this criminal is put to death.
Thank you.
And as for your ludis yet to be named, I assume that you will bring such things to the attention of the Commissar.
Of course.
The Duke will want to meet the masters of any new ludus in the city, although I'm pretty sure that it will be no small thing.
I see. Oh. I look forward to it then.
A few things that you should know about Vaddapol.
We would
Worship of the old gods is restricted.
Well, sir, I assure you, nothing but the five-faced god for this poor soul here.
He nods to you. Restricted to the market of the old gods and the old pantheon, as well as in the private stables of those of your gladiatorium. Any others who follow the gods should keep it to themselves. There is no proselytizing allowed in Vaddapol.
How do I know?
Ashoka makes note that we're going to have a quick chat with Magnus about the yelling.
You should go then, faithful, to the Towers of Faith. They overlook the market of the old gods, like a master overlooks his servants.
I'll certainly make my way there as soon as time permits. Thank you, good sir, for your service to your
Fucking
country
dragon encounter.
and your lord.
Okay. He salutes. He salutes to you.
Gives him a nod and a little bit of bow.
I look forward to seeing your men in the gladiator arena. The Vaddapol Civic Arena. is renowned amongst gladiator circles.